Hello, my beloved ones. You are here because a certain thirst has brought you. Not a thirst for information, for the world is already burdened with too much of it, but a thirst for a different quality of being. You have been told for centuries that you are a sinner, that you are small, that you are a sheep in need of a shepherd. I am here to tell you that you are none of those things. You are the shepherd, you are the path, and you are the goal itself. But to realize this, one must have the courage to see through the thickest fog that has ever covered the human mind, the fog of organized religion. For 5,000 years, the politician and the priest have been in the same business. I call them the mafia of the soul. It is a deep-rooted conspiracy against humanity. Why do they work together? It is simple. The politician wants to rule your body, your external life, your society. The priest wants to rule your soul, your internal life, your afterlife. Together, they have created a cage so subtle that most people do not even realize they are behind bars. They have given you labels: Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Jew. These are not descriptions of your soul. They are the names of your prisons. Have you ever seen a tree that is a Christian? Have you ever seen a mountain that is a Buddhist? No. The trees, the stars, the rivers, they belong to the whole. Only man, in his immense ignorance, allows himself to be divided. Before we go deeper into how this mafia has crippled your vision, I want you to feel the space we are creating here. If these words resonate with your inner truth, if you feel a stirring in your heart that says, yes, I have always suspected this, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications. By doing so, you are not just following a person, you are joining a movement of awareness. Like this video to help this message reach those who are still lost in the darkness of dogma. Your comments are the echoes of your soul. Share them with me. And if you feel moved to support the continuation of this work, to help spread this fire of consciousness to the furthest corners of the earth, consider clicking the join button to become a member of our community, or use super thanks to offer your gratitude directly. You can also find our e-books in the description, which serve as maps for your inner journey. These are not just transactions, they are energy exchanges in the service of truth. The priest and the politician thrive on your fear. If you are not afraid, you cannot be controlled. Therefore, they have invented a god who is a puppeteer, a judge who sits in the clouds waiting to punish you for your natural instincts. They have called your body a sin and your desires a curse. They want you to be divided against yourself, because a man divided is a man weak. When you are weak, you need a priest to pray for you. When you are weak, you need a politician to lead you. They have stolen your childhood, your innocence, and replaced it with a heavy burden of guilt. They tell you that you must believe, but I say to you, belief is a cover-up for ignorance. If you know, you don't need to believe. If you don't know, how can you believe? Belief is a way of pretending that you know what you don't know. It is a spiritual suicide. Look at the history of these religions. More blood has been shed in the name of God than in the name of anything else. Why? Because when you believe, you become fanatic. When you believe, you are close to the truth. You become part of a mob. A mob has no soul. It only has a collective insanity. The politician needs this mob to go to war. The priest needs this mob to maintain his authority. They feed each other. The politician protects the priest's temples and mosques, and the priest tells the people that the politician is chosen by God. It is a perfect circle of exploitation. They have turned this beautiful earth into a graveyard of ideologies. But the earth is not a graveyard, it is a garden. It is a place of immense love and ecstasy. If you look deeply into the center of any living thing, you will find nothing but love. The stars are rushing toward a love affair. The rivers are rushing toward the ocean to merge and disappear in an act of ultimate love. Existence itself is a celebration. But you cannot join this celebration if you are carrying the cross of Christianity or the heavy scriptures of Hinduism. You must drop these weights. You must stand naked before existence. Only then can the sun warm your soul. Only then can the wind dance through your heart. People often ask me, Osho, if we drop religion, what will happen to God? I tell them God is the greatest lie ever told. God is a device to keep you a child. It is time to grow up. The death of God is the beginning of the birth of the new man. Friedrich Nietzsche was right when he said God is dead, but he was also sad because he didn't know what would take God's place. I tell you, Zen is the only living truth that can take the place of a dead God. Zen is not a religion, it is a science of the soul. It does not ask you to believe, it asks you to experience. It does not give you a God, it gives you yourself. In the tradition of Zen, there is a beautiful understanding of the stages of enlightenment. First, the Buddha comes behind you as a presence. You feel it as an energy field that surrounds you. It changes your behavior. It gives you a new sense of direction. It gives you a spontaneous morality that doesn't come from a book, but from your own awareness. Suddenly, you are kind not because you are told to be, but because it feels beautiful to be kind. You are joyful not because you have a reason, but because your very being is overflowing. Then comes the second step. The Buddha comes in front of you. You become the shadow and he becomes the reality. You are so mesmerized by this inner light that your ego begins to melt. And finally, the third step, even your shadow disappears. You are no more. Only the Buddha remains. This Buddha is not an external person. It is your own eternity, your own truth, your own godliness. This is what Jesus meant when he spoke of the kingdom of heaven. But the Christians missed the point completely. They started worshipping the man Jesus instead of finding the Christ within themselves. Jesus was a man of the earth who had found the sky. When his disciples asked him what the kingdom of heaven was like, he said, "It is like a mustard seed. It is the smallest of all seeds, almost invisible. But when it falls on tilled earth, it grows into a great tree where the birds of heaven can find shelter." Your awareness is that mustard seed. It is small, hidden under the layers of your conditioning. But if you till the soil of your heart through meditation, that seed will sprout. It will become a massive tree of consciousness. And in its shade, you will find a peace that the world cannot give and the world cannot take away. But the priests didn't want you to find this tree. They wanted you to remain a seed, dormant and dry. They gave you rituals instead of meditation. They gave you plastic flowers instead of helping you grow real ones. They taught you how to pray to a stone statue while ignoring the living God that breathes within you. I want to wake you up from this nightmare. I want you to realize that you are not a part of any organization. You are an organic part of this whole existence. You are as necessary to the universe as the sun and the moon. This realization is the first and last freedom. It is the freedom from the other. As long as you need a priest, you are a slave. As long as you need a leader, you are a follower. And a follower can never reach the truth, because truth is a pathless land. You have to walk it alone. But you are not really alone, because in your deepest solitude, you find that you are the whole. This is the paradox of meditation. The more you go into yourself, the more you find everyone else there. At the center, we all meet. On the circumference, we are different. One is a man, one is a woman, one is black, one is white, but at the center, we are one pulse, one light. To reach this center, you need a new kind of human being. Not a monk who escapes to the mountains, but what I call Jorba the Buddha. The Jorba in you loves the earth, loves the music, loves the dance, loves the food. He is the foundation. Without the foundation, the temple cannot stand. The Buddha in you loves the silence, the meditation, the heights of consciousness. He is the peak. A man who is only Jorba is shallow. A man who is only Buddha is like a ghost, without blood and bone. I want you to be both. I want you to live a life of total richness, rich in the outer world and rich in the inner world. This is the only way to live authentically. As we move forward into the deeper mechanics of how to achieve this synthesis, I want to remind you that your support is what keeps this garden of consciousness growing. If you find value in these insights, please like and share this video. Let's break the chains of the soul mafia together. Your engagement, whether it is a comment below or a super thanks, helps us reach more souls who are ready to wake up. And if you want to dive deeper into the methods of meditation, click the join button or explore our ebooks. These are tools for your liberation. Target word count 3,000 words, approximately 20,000 characters. Current word count 1,500 words, continuing seamlessly. You have been told that to be spiritual, you must be poor. This is the trick of the politicians and priests. They want to keep you poor so they can keep you dependent. They have praised poverty because it makes you easier to manage. But I say to you, poverty is a disease. To be truly spiritual, you must be rich in every sense of the word. You must have the best of the world and the best of the soul. There is no conflict between money and meditation. Money is a resource for the outer world. Meditation is a resource for the inner world. Use both. Don't be a beggar in either world. The problem with the old religions is that they were life negative. They were against life. They taught you to renounce, to sacrifice, to suffer. They made a virtue out of misery. Have you seen the faces of the so-called saints? They look like they haven't laughed in centuries. They look half dead. If that is holiness, then I don't want any part of it. My vision of holiness is laughter, dance, and celebration. A saint who cannot dance is not a saint at all. He is just a repressed ego. True spirituality is life affirmative. It says yes to everything that existence offers. This yes is the heart of meditation. Meditation is not a technique that you do for 20 minutes a day. It is a quality of awareness that you carry with you every moment. When you eat, eat meditatively. When you walk, walk meditatively. When you love, love meditatively. What does it mean to be meditative? It means to be a witness. Just watch your thoughts, watch your emotions, watch your actions. Don't judge them, don't suppress them, just watch. As you watch, a miracle happens. The more you watch, the more the distance between you and your mind grows. You begin to see that you are the watcher, not the watched. This is the beginning of freedom. The mind is a beautiful servant but a dangerous master. Right now, your mind is your master. It tells you what to do, what to think, what to feel. It keeps you running in circles of desire and frustration. But through meditation, the mind is put in its place. It becomes a tool that you use when you need it, and you can put it aside when you don't. In that silence, when the mind is still, the truth reveals itself. Not the truth of a book, but the living truth of your own being. This truth is what the priests are afraid of. If you find your own truth, you won't go to their churches. You won't give them your money. You won't listen to their sermons. You will become an individual. and an individual is dangerous to the status quo. The politician wants you to be a citizen, a cog in the machine. The priest wants you to be a believer, a sheep in the flock. But I want you to be a rebel, not a rebel against others, but a rebel against your own conditioning. A rebel is one who lives according to his own light, no matter the cost. This rebellion is not an act of hate, it is an act of supreme love. It is love for yourself and love for existence. When you love yourself, you cannot allow anyone to manipulate you. When you love existence, you cannot help but be in a state of constant prayer. Not a prayer with words, but a prayerful heart. This prayerfulness is what I call dhyana or meditation. It is a state of being where you are in total harmony with the whole. In this harmony, the ego disappears. And when the ego is gone, there is no more I and thou. There is only this. This moment, this silence, this heartbeat. As you sit here with me, listening to these words, can you feel that silence? It is always there, underneath the noise of your thoughts. It is like the sky. The clouds come and go, but the sky remains untouched. Your thoughts are the clouds. Your awareness is the sky. Don't be too concerned with the clouds. Let them pass. Keep your eyes on the sky. This is the secret of the mustard seed. This is the secret of the Buddha. This is the secret of Zen. I want to invite you to take this journey deeper. If you feel that this is the path you have been looking for, don't just be a spectator, be a participant. Subscribe to our channel and join our global family of seekers. Use the join button to support our work and gain access to deeper teachings. Your super thanks and your purchase of our ebooks are vital for us to continue providing these insights for free to millions around the world. Let's create a world where there are no religions, only religiousness. A world where there are no masters and slaves, only friends. Remember, there is no Christianity, there is no Islam, there is no Hinduism. There is only your ignorance or your awareness. If you are ignorant, you will find a religion to hide in. If you are aware, you will find the whole existence is your temple. The choice is yours. Every moment is an opportunity to choose. Choose awareness. Choose life. Choose love. Continuing on this path of understanding, we must look at the concept of God with even more clarity. For centuries, the word God has been used to stop people from searching. It is an answer that kills the question. If you ask who created the world and someone says God, the inquiry is finished. But if you say, I don't know, the inquiry begins. I don't know is the most honest statement a human being can make. It is from this not knowing that true science and true spirituality are born. When you are in a state of not knowing, you are open. You are like a child, full of wonder. The priests don't want you to wonder. They want you to have faith. But faith is just a fancy word for blind belief. Faith is a way of closing your eyes. I want you to open your eyes. I want you to doubt. Doubt is one of the most precious human faculties. Only through doubt can you arrive at a truth that is your own. A truth that is borrowed is not truth at all. It is just more information, more garbage in your head. Unless you have seen it, it is not true for you. Even if all the Buddhas and Christs in history say it is true, it remains a lie for you until it becomes your own experience. This is why I say God is a puppeteer in the minds of the religious. They think God is controlling everything, their successes, their failures, their very breath. This is a very convenient way to avoid responsibility. If God is doing everything, then you are not responsible for anything. If there is poverty, it's God's will. If there is war, it's God's plan. This is how the politicians and priests have kept the world in misery. They use God's will to justify every injustice. But I tell you, there is no God's will. There is only your will and the laws of existence. You are responsible for your life. You are responsible for this earth. When you take total responsibility for yourself, something amazing happens. You suddenly become powerful. Not power over others, but power over your own destiny. You are no longer a victim. You are a creator. And as a creator, you begin to see that this life can be whatever you make of it. If you want it to be a hell, you can make it a hell. If you want it to be a heaven, you can make it a heaven. It all depends on your awareness. This is the message of Zen. Zen says that you are already the Buddha, but you are hiding behind layers of dreams. You are like a king who has fallen asleep and is dreaming that he is a beggar. In the dream, the beggar is suffering. He is hungry, he is cold, he is alone. He prays to God for help, but the answer to his prayer is not to give him bread. The answer is to wake him up. Once he wakes up, he realizes he was never a beggar. He was always the king. All his suffering was made of the same stuff as dreams. My work here is to wake you up. I am not here to give you bread or a better dream. I am here to shake you until your eyes open and it is painful. To wake up from a comfortable dream is difficult. To see that your religion is a lie, that your God is a myth, that your morality is just a social convenience, it is terrifying. It feels like the ground is being taken away from under your feet. But only when the false ground is taken away can you find the real ground. Only when the lies are gone can the truth be seen. If you are finding the strength to face this truth with me, I want to thank you for your courage. It takes a rare soul to listen to these things without running away. To support our mission and ensure that these awakening calls reach others, please hit the like button and share this video with someone who is ready to hear it. Subscribe and join our community by clicking the join button. Your membership helps us stay independent of any corporate or political influence. And if you've been touched by this discourse, a super thanks or an ebook purchase is a beautiful way to show your appreciation and keep this flame of awareness burning bright. Every bit of support helps us bypass the traditional gatekeepers and bring this message directly to you. Let's look at the mafia of the soul again. The politician and the priest have a vested interest in your misery. A happy person is not a good consumer. A happy person is not a good soldier. A happy person is not a good follower. A happy person is someone who is content in himself. He doesn't need to buy things to feel better. He doesn't need to hate others to feel superior. He doesn't need to follow a leader because he is his own light. Therefore, the whole society is geared toward making you unhappy. They give you high goals and then make sure you can't reach them. They give you a sense of lack, a sense of not being enough. The priest tells you that you are a sinner from birth. Imagine Before you have even done anything, you are already a sinner. This is original sin, the most cunning psychological weapon ever invented. It creates a deep-seated guilt that you can never get rid of. And once you are guilty, you are a slave. You will do anything to be saved. You will pay the priest, you will go to the church, you will perform the rituals. The priest becomes the middleman between you and your own soul. But I tell you, there is no original sin. There is only original innocence. Every child is born as a Buddha. The society then proceeds to destroy that Buddha, to crucify that innocence and replace it with a Christian or a Muslim. I am here to help you reclaim your original innocence. To do that, you must go through a process of unlearning. You don't need to learn anything new. You have already learned too much. You need to drop what you have been taught. You need to peel the onion of your personality until there is nothing left. In that nothingness, you will find your everythingness. This is what the Zen masters mean by no mind. It is not a state of stupidity. It is a state of pure mirror-like clarity. When the mind is silent, it reflects the world as it is, without any distortion. In this clarity, you see that there is no division between you and the rest of existence. The trees are your brothers. The stars are your sisters. You are part of an immense living organism. When you realize this, love is no longer an effort. It is your very breath. You love because you cannot help it. You love because you see yourself in everyone and everything. This is the only true religion, the religion of love, the religion of awareness. The old religions are based on fear. My vision is based on love. The old religions are based on the past. My vision is based on the present. The old religions are based on the other. My vision is based on the self. But remember, this self is not the ego. The ego is a social construct. The self is a virtual reality. The ego is what people think of you. The self is what you are. Meditation is the bridge from the ego to the self. As you walk this bridge, you will encounter the mustard seed of your own potential. Don't be afraid of its smallness. Within that smallness is the entire universe. As Jesus said, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. He wasn't talking about physical mountains. He was talking about the mountains of your ego, the mountains of your conditioning. One small spark of awareness is enough to burn down a forest of ignorance. This awareness is not something you have to go to a temple to find. It is right here, right now. It is in the way you are listening to me. Are you just hearing the words, or are you feeling the silence between them? The words are just a container. The silence is the content. Drink the silence. That silence is the voice of the divine. That silence is the first and last freedom. To live in this freedom, you must be a Zorba the Buddha. You must be able to enjoy the marketplace and the mountain. You must be able to laugh and to sit in silence. The priests told you that you have to choose either the world or God. I say, don't choose. Choosing is the way of the ego. The whole belongs to you. Take it all. Live as totally as possible. Be a Zorba in your body and a Buddha in your soul. This is the new humanity that I am working to create. And this work is only possible because of you. Each one of you is a seed of this new humanity. When you share these videos, when you subscribe, when you support us through the join button or super thanks, you are helping to water these seeds. You are helping to create an alternative to the madness of the world. You are helping to build a Gautam the Buddha auditorium in the hearts of millions. For those who want to study these teachings more deeply, our e-books are available to guide you step by step. Let's make this world a place worthy of the human spirit. This synthesis of Zorba and Buddha is the only hope for a world that is currently tearing itself apart. On one side, you have the materialists who believe only in the body, only in the visible, only in the quantifiable. They have created a world of immense technological power, but zero inner direction. They have the fastest cars and the most sophisticated computers, but the person sitting in the car is miserable, and the person using the computer has no idea why he is alive. On the other side, you have the spiritual people who have turned their backs on life, who have made a virtue out of starvation and a religion out of sadness. They have a certain inner peace perhaps, but it is the peace of the graveyard. It is not alive. It doesn't dance. I am teaching you a new way, the way of the whole. A man who is whole is a man who is holy. The word holy and whole come from the same root. If you are divided, you are unholy. If you are integrated, you are holy. This integration happens through the fire of awareness. Think of your life as a great experiment. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The only mistake is to repeat the same mistake over and over again, to try something new, to explore a new dimension of your being. Even if you fail, you have gained something. You have gained experience. You have gained a little more maturity. The priests and the politicians are terrified of mature people. They want you to remain immature. They want you to remain dependent. Maturity means you no longer look for a father figure in the sky or a leader in the capital. Maturity means you stand on your own 2 feet and you take the consequences of your actions. This is why they have created so many distractions. They want you to be obsessed with money, with power, with fame, with sex, with anything, as long as you are not looking at yourself. Because the moment you look at yourself, you see the absurdity of their systems. You see that their laws are just ways to protect the interests of the few. You see that their morality is just a way to keep you in line. In this context, I want to share something very close to my heart. This channel, these videos, and the books we provide are not just content. They are a declaration of independence for the human soul. When you interact with this message by liking, by sharing, by hitting that subscribe button, you are helping to dismantle the old rotten structures of the mind. To those who feel a deep call to support this rebellion, I invite you to click the join button. By becoming a member, you are directly fueling the creation of a new consciousness. Your super thanks and your interest in our ebooks allow us to keep this flame alive, reaching souls who are desperate for a drop of truth in a desert of lies. This is our shared work. We are building an oasis together. Let's talk about the mustard seed again. Jesus was a revolutionary, but the church turned him into a commodity. He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." He didn't mean that he, the person, was the only way. He meant that the state of consciousness he had reached is the way. He was speaking from that center where he was no longer an I, he was the whole. But the church made it a monopoly. They said, only through Jesus can you reach God. This is the same trick the politicians use. Only through our party can you have prosperity. It is a lie. The way is within you. Nobody can give it to you, and nobody can take it away. To find this way, you must understand the nature of your conditioning. From the moment you were born, you were told who you are. You were given a name, a religion, a nationality. You were told what is right and what is wrong. You were told what to love and what to hate. By the time you were 7 years old, your mind was already a programmed computer. You think your thoughts are your own, but they are not. They are the echoes of your parents, your teachers, your priests. You are living a borrowed life. Meditation is the process of deprogramming. It is the art of wiping the mirror clean. When you sit in silence, you start to see these programs running. You see a thought of anger and you realize this is not me. This is just a habit I learned from my father. You see a feeling of guilt and you realize this is not me. This is just a seed planted by the priest. As you watch, the programs lose their power over you. They are like shadows. They can only exist in the absence of light. Your awareness is the light. This is why I don't give you a new belief system. I don't want to replace your old prison with a new, more comfortable one. I want to give you the key to all prisons. That key is your own witnessing. If you can witness your body, you are not the body. If you can witness your mind, you are not the mind. If you can witness your emotions, you are not the emotions. Then who are you? You are the witness. You are the pure look. In that purity, there is no Christianity, no Islam, no Hinduism. There is only a vast, silent space, and that space is the most beautiful thing in existence. The priests will tell you that this space is dangerous. They will call it nothingness or the void. They want you to be afraid of it, because in that space they have no power over you. But this nothingness is not empty. It is pregnant with everything. It is the sunyata of the Buddhists. It is the 0 point from which all numbers arise. To enter this space is to enter the source of life itself. It is to find the mustard seed before it has sprouted. In our current world, we are seeing the end of the old religions. They are dying because they no longer make sense. Science has exposed their myths, and the modern mind can no longer accept their fairy tales. But people are lost because they don't know what to do without them. They have turned to politics, to nationalism, to consumerism as a new religion. But these are even worse. They are even more shallow. The only way forward is not backward to the old religions, but inward to the source. This inward journey requires a certain kind of intensity. It is not for the lukewarm. It is not for those who just want to feel a little better. It is for those who are willing to risk everything for the truth. Zen is for the gamblers. It is for those who are ready to lose their ego to find their soul. And the beauty of Zen is that it doesn't ask you to go anywhere. You don't have to go to a temple in Japan or a cave in the Himalayas. You can be a Zen master while you are cooking, while you are working in an office, while you are playing with your children. The secret is to bring a quality of total presence to everything you do. If you are washing a cup, wash it as if the whole universe depends on it. Be so present that for a moment there is no washer, only the washing. This is the death of the ego. The ego can only exist when there is a division between the doer and the deed. When the doer and the deed become one, the ego is gone. And in that oneness, there is a tremendous flow of energy. You feel light. You feel unburdened. You feel a deep sense of gratitude. This gratitude is the only true prayer. You don't pray for things. You don't ask God for a better job or a bigger house. You pray because you are so full of joy that you have to express it. You pray as a thank you to existence for the very fact that you are here, breathing, seeing the flowers, hearing the music of the spheres. This is the prayer of the Jhorba who has found his Buddha. As we continue to explore these depths, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your own life. Where are you still a slave? Where are you still following the dictates of the mafia of the soul? Be honest with yourself. Awareness begins with honesty. If you appreciate this invitation to honesty and want to help us reach more people who are ready to be free, please like this video and share it. Every share is a crack in the wall of the old world. Your subscription is your commitment to this journey. And remember, our community is growing through the join button and the generous super thanks from seekers like you. Check out the ebooks for a more structured approach to your meditation practice. Your support makes it possible for us to keep this message independent and powerful. Let us look at the relationship between the leader and the led. Why do people feel the need to follow? It is because they are afraid of their own freedom. Freedom is a great responsibility. When you are free, you have no one to blame for your life. If you are miserable, it is because of you. If you are happy, it is because of you. Most people are not ready for this. They would rather have a master who tells them what to do, even if the master exploits them. Slavery is comfortable because it removes the burden of choice. The priest gives you a map and says, "Follow this path and you will reach heaven." You feel relieved. Now you don't have to look for yourself. You just have to follow the map. But the map is not the territory. In fact, the priest's map is usually a map of a place that doesn't even exist. He is leading you in circles. I don't give you a map. I tell you that you are the territory. I tell you that the path is created by your own walking. There is no pre-made road to the divine. You create the road as you go. This is the meaning of my presence. I am not here to lead you. I am here to be a mirror. When you look at me, I want you to see your own potential. If I can be silent, you can be silent. If I can be blissful, you can be blissful. If I can be free from the mafia of the soul, you can be free too. I am just a human being who has decided to wake up. And because I have woken up, I can see that you are still dreaming. I am shouting at you to wake up, not because I want you to follow me, but because the morning is so beautiful and I don't want you to miss it. The politicians talk about revolution. They say change the government, change the laws, change the economic system, and everything will be fine. But they have been saying this for thousands of years, and nothing has really changed. The names change, the flags change, but the misery remains. Why? Because you cannot have an outer revolution without an inner revolution. If the people remain the same, greedy, angry, fearful, any system they create will eventually become corrupt. You can have a communist revolution, a capitalist revolution, a democratic revolution, it doesn't matter. As long as the human mind is the same, the result will be the same. The only real revolution is the individual revolution. If you change, the world changes. Because you are a part of the world. If you become more loving, there is more love in the world. If you become more silent, there is more silence in the world. If you become a Buddha, you create a ripple of awareness that spreads to the very edges of existence. This is the only way to transform the human condition. It is not through mass movements, but through individual awakening. The mafia of the soul knows this. That's why they hate individuals. They love the masses. They love the people. They love the congregation. Because in a group, the individual is last. In a group, you are just a number. You can be manipulated. You can be turned into a soldier or a fanatic. But an individual cannot be manipulated. An individual has a spine. An individual has eyes that see. An individual is a danger to every priest and every politician. I want you to become that danger. I want you to be so rooted in your own being that no one can sway you. I want you to be so full of your own light that no darkness can touch you. This is the goal of meditation. It is to find the indestructible within you. Everything else will be taken away by time. Your body will grow old and die. Your mind will fade. Your name will be forgotten. But there is something in you that is beyond time. There is something in you that was there before you were born and will be there after you are gone. To find that is to find the truth. In the world of Zen, they call this your original face. The face you had before your parents were born. It is a beautiful metaphor. It means your essential nature before it was covered by the dust of the world. Meditation is simply the process of cleaning off that dust. It is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming who you already are. It is a return to your childhood innocence, but with the wisdom of an adult. It is a second birth. The mustard seed of Jesus is this same original face. It is the potentiality that is waiting for the right conditions to become an actuality. My role is to be the gardener. I am here to till the soil of your heart, to remove the weeds of your conditioning, and to provide the water of my love. But the growth must come from you. I cannot grow for you. No one can. This is the beauty and the terror of life. You are ultimately alone. But in that aloneness, you are also one with everything. Look at the trees. They don't have a religion. They don't have a constitution. They don't have a central bank. Yet they grow, they bloom. They share their fragrance with everyone, even with the person who comes to cut them down. This is the natural state of being. This is Tao. This is Dhamma. It is to live in harmony with the laws of existence. When you live in harmony, there is no friction. When there is no friction, there is no suffering. Suffering is simply a sign that you are fighting against the flow of life. The priests have taught you that suffering is good, that it is a way to please God. This is a lie. God, our existence, is not a sadist. Existence wants you to be happy. Existence wants you to bloom. Look at the colors of the flowers, the songs of the birds, the vastness of the starry sky. Does it look like existence wants you to be miserable? Only the human mind creates misery by going against the natural flow. We have created a world that is artificial, a world that is based on competition and conflict. We have turned life into a struggle for survival when it should be a celebration of being. To move from struggle to celebration, you need to drop the mafia of the soul. You need to drop the idea that you are separate from the whole. You need to drop the idea that you have to achieve something. You are already there. You are already the goal. There is nowhere to go and nothing to do. Just be. In that just being, the whole mystery of life is revealed. As we continue this sharing, I feel a deep sense of connection with you. Even if we have never met in the physical world, our souls are meeting here in this space of awareness. This is the power of truth. It transcends all boundaries. To keep this space open and to expand its reach, I invite you to be an active part of our community. Like the video, subscribe, and share your insights in the comments. Your words might be the catalyst for someone else's awakening. If you feel a resonance and wish to support our mission, use the join button or super thanks. And don't forget the ebooks for your daily practice. Every contribution, no matter how small, helps us stay independent of the forces that want to keep humanity in the dark. We are the architects of a new dawn. The synthesis of Zorba and Buddha is not just an idea, it is a lived reality. I see it in those of you who are beginning to meditate and yet are also living more intensely in the world. I see it in the way you are becoming more creative, more loving, more playful. This is the sign of health. A religious person who is not playful is not religious, he is just sick. True religiousness is an overflow of energy. It is a dance. It is a song. It is a laugh that comes from the very belly of the universe. Don't let the priests take away your laughter. They want you to be serious because seriousness is a part of the ego. The ego cannot laugh. Have you noticed? The ego is always serious, always concerned about its dignity, always worried about what others think. Laughter is the death of the ego. When you laugh totally, for a moment the ego is gone. You are just a flow of energy. That's why I tell so many jokes. I want to break your seriousness. I want to sneak behind your ego and give you a glimpse of the beyond. In Zen, there is a long tradition of laughing masters. There is a story of a master who, when he was dying, told his disciples to burn his body immediately. He was always a joker, so they were a bit suspicious. When they lit the fire, suddenly fireworks started going off from his clothes. He had hidden fireworks in his robes so that his death would be a celebration. This is the spirit of Zen. Even death is not serious. Death is just a change of clothes. If you know that you are eternal, what is there to fear? And if there is no fear, there is only love. This love is not a relationship. It is a state of being. You don't love someone, you are love. Just as a candle gives light to everyone in the room, a person who has found his center gives love to everyone he meets. It doesn't matter who they are or what they have done. His love is unconditional. It is like the sun that shines on the good and the bad alike. This is the love that Jesus spoke of. But the Christians turned it into a duty. You cannot have a duty to love. Either you love or you don't. And you can only love others when you have found the source of love within yourself. To find that source, you must be willing to be alone. Not lonely, but alone. Loneliness is the feeling that you are missing the other. Aloneness is the realization that you are sufficient unto yourself. In your aloneness, you are a king. In your loneliness, you are a beggar. Most people are trying to escape their loneliness through relationships, through work, through entertainment. But you cannot escape it. It is always there waiting for you. The only way is to go into it. Go into your aloneness until it becomes your greatest strength. In that aloneness, you will find the Buddha. In that aloneness, you will find the mustard seed. And from that aloneness, a new kind of relationship is born. A relationship that is not based on need, but on sharing. You don't use the other to fill your hole. You are already full. And you want to share your overflow. This is the only relationship that is truly beautiful. Everything else is just a mutual exploitation, a mafia of the heart. So, my beloved ones, the choice is before you. Will you continue to be a sheep in the flock of the priests and politicians? Or will you have the courage to be a lion, to walk alone, and to find your own truth? The path of the lion is difficult, but it is the only path that leads to life. The path of the sheep is easy, but it leads to the slaughterhouse. Choose carefully, your eternity depends on it. As we conclude this part of our journey, I want to remind you that the flame of awareness needs to be protected and shared. If you feel this message has touched your soul, please give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Subscribe and join our global family of seekers by clicking the join button. Your super thanks and your support through our ebooks are what allow us to continue providing this light to the world. Let's stand together as individuals, as rebels, as lovers of the truth. There is no Christianity, no Islam, no Hinduism. There is only our shared journey from ignorance to awareness. I am with you at every step. This path of the lion, the path of the individual, is essentially the path of deprogramming. You have to understand that the mafia of the soul does not only operate through the church or the state house, it operates through the very structure of your mind. From the moment you were born, the priests and politicians begin their work. They call it education. They call it socialization. But it is actually a process of systematic destruction of your intelligence. Why? Because an intelligent person is uncontrollable. An intelligent person cannot be led to a war. An intelligent person cannot be made to believe in a hell or a heaven. Intelligence is the greatest enemy of the establishment. They have replaced your intelligence with intellect. Intellect is borrowed knowledge. Intelligence is your own capacity to see. You are born with intelligence, but the society covers it with layers of information. They give you the answers before you have even asked the questions. By the time you are a young adult, you are a walking encyclopedia of other people's opinions. You know what Jesus said, you know what Marx said, you know what Buddha said, but you have no idea what you say. You are a ghost, living through the words of the dead. To reclaim your intelligence, you must become a gardener of your own soul. Remember the parable of the mustard seed. The seed needs tilled earth. Tilled earth means a mind that has been broken open. A mind that is no longer rigid with beliefs. If the soil is hard and rocky, the seed will just sit there and eventually be eaten by the birds. The birds are the priests and politicians who want to snatch away your potential before it can sprout. They want to keep you as a hard, dry seed because a seed is easy to store, easy to count, and easy to sell. But a tree is wild. A tree follows no laws but the laws of existence. To till the earth of your mind, you need the plow of meditation. Meditation is not a quiet sitting in a corner for few minutes. It is the radical act of questioning everything you have been told. It is a fire that burns away the mafia of the soul. As you sit in silence, you start to see that you are not your name, you are not your nationality, you are not your degree, you are not your religion. These are just labels pasted on your forehead. If you can drop these labels, what is left? A vast, pulsing emptiness. And in that emptiness, the mustard seed begins to stir. Now, if you feel this stirring within you, if you feel that the labels are starting to peel away, then you are ready for the next level of this journey. This channel is dedicated to the few who are brave enough to stand alone. If you haven't already, subscribe and join our family. Like this video to help us bypass the algorithms of the mafia and reach those who are still trapped in the fog. Your comments are the fuel for our shared fire. Tell me what labels you are ready to drop. And if you want to support this global awakening, if you want to help us keep this garden of truth growing, I invite you to click the join button to become a pillar of this community. Your super thanks and your purchase of our ebooks directly fund our ability to reach more seekers with this message of freedom. Together we can create a space where the mustard seed can truly bloom. The death of God is not a tragedy. It is the liberation of the creative spirit. When there is no puppeteer in the sky, you become the master of your own dance. You are no longer a puppet, you are the dancer. This is the essence of Zen. Zen is the only living truth because it doesn't give you a theology. It gives you a methodology. It tells you don't look at the moon that is pointed at. Look at the finger. The finger is your own awareness. But the priests want you to worship the finger. They want you to kiss the finger, to build temples for the finger, to write scriptures about the finger. They want you to forget the moon entirely. The moon is your own enlightenment. The moon is your original face. The moon is the silence that was there before the world began. To see the moon, you must look away from the fingers. You must look away from the priest, from the politician, even from the master. A true master is one who eventually makes himself unnecessary. I am here to point the way, but you must do the walking. And the walking happens in the middle of your everyday life. This is where the synthesis of Zorba the Buddha becomes vital. Don't think that meditation is something separate from your work or your relationships. If you are a Zorba, you enjoy the world. If you are a Buddha, you remain a witness to that enjoyment. When you eat, be the Zorba who tastes every flavor, who enjoys the richness of the food, but also be the Buddha who watches the eating. When you love, be the Zorba who gives himself totally to the passion, but also be the Buddha who sees the flame of love without getting lost in the smoke of attachment. This witnessing is the only alchemy. It transforms the lead of your ego into the gold of your being. The mafia of the soul wants you to be either a materialist or a spiritualist. They want you to be divided. If you are a materialist, you are a slave to your desires. If you are a spiritualist, you are a slave to your repressions. Either way, you are a slave. But I want you to be a master. A master is one who can use everything and be used by nothing. A master can be in the marketplace and yet not be of the marketplace. Look at the mustard seed again. It is smaller than all seeds. This represents your humility, your nothingness. The ego wants to be the biggest seed. It wants to be the most important, the most powerful. But the biggest seed is often the hardest to break. It is the smallness, the insignificance of the seed that allows it to disappear into the earth. And in that disappearance, the miracle happens. Unless the seed dies, the tree cannot be born. Your ego must die for the Buddha to be born. This death is not a physical death, it is the death of your identification with the other. Everything that has been given to you by society is the other. Your name is given by others, your language is given by others, your religion is given by others, even your image of yourself is just a collection of reflections from others' eyes. You are living a second-hand life. Meditation is the search for the first-hand experience. It is the search for that which is authentically yours. When you find that, you find a joy that has no cause. Usually your joy is caused by something, a promotion, a new love, a victory. Because it has a cause, it is temporary. When the cause is gone, the joy is gone. But the joy of the Buddha is uncaused. It is the very nature of your being. It is like the fragrance of a flower. The flower doesn't bloom for someone. It blooms because it is its nature to bloom. It doesn't care if anyone passes by or not. Its joy is complete in itself. This is the state of no mind or sunyata. It is a state of pure presence. Imagine a mirror. When someone stands in front of the mirror reflects them. When they move away, the mirror is empty again. The mirror doesn't hold on to the image. It doesn't say, "Oh, that was such a beautiful woman, I must keep her reflection." Or, "That was such an ugly man, I'm glad he's gone." The mirror remains a mirror, pure, empty, and ready. Your awareness should be like that mirror. Let the world pass through you, but don't let it stick to you. The priests have taught you to be attached to what they call good and detached from what they call evil. This is just another way to keep you in conflict. I say, be a mirror to both. Reflect the good, reflect the evil, but remain the mirror. This is the first and last freedom. It is the freedom from the duality of the mind. In this freedom, there is no Christianity, no Islam, no Hinduism. These are just different patterns of dust on the mirror. Wipe them away. As we delve deeper into the practical ways to wipe this mirror, I want to invite you to be a part of this living work. The mafia of the soul is powerful, but truth is unstoppable. If this resonance is expanding within you, please like and share this video. Let's create a network of awareness that spans the globe. Subscribe to join our movement. To those who wish to go deeper, I offer our ebooks, which contain specific techniques to till the soil of your heart. Your support via the join button or a super thanks is not just a donation. It is a declaration that you value consciousness over conditioning. It helps us remain a voice of the mustard seed in a world of plastic flowers. The priests tell you that truth is in the past, in the scriptures. The politicians tell you that truth is in the future, in the new society. I tell you, truth is only in the present. Truth is this. It is the breath you are taking right now. It is the heartbeat you are feeling right now. If you miss the present, you miss everything. And the mind is a device that keeps you either in the past or in the future. It ruminates on what happened yesterday, or it worries about what will happen tomorrow. It is never here. Meditation is the art of bringing the mind here. When you are here, you are in the kingdom of heaven. Jesus was not talking about a place you go after you die. He was talking about a quality of being that you can have right now. The kingdom of heaven is within you. But the church turned it into a post-dated check. They said, suffer now and you will be rewarded later. This is the greatest scam in history. I say, celebrate now. The reward is in the celebration itself. There is no later. Existence knows only now. The synthesis of Zorba and Buddha is the way to live this now to its fullest. Zorba gives you the intensity, the passion, the earthiness. Buddha gives you the silence, the awareness, the sky. Without Zorba, Buddha is a bit dry, a bit pale. Without Buddha, Zorba is a bit blind, a bit chaotic. Together, they create a human being who is a complete circle. A human being who can enjoy a glass of wine with the same awareness as a Zen master enjoys a cup of tea. A human being who can dance in the rain and yet remain as silent as a mountain inside. This is the new man. And the new man doesn't need a religion. He is religiousness itself. He doesn't need a god. He is godliness itself. He doesn't need a priest. He is his own light. This is the vision that the mafia of the soul is so afraid of. They know that if people become Zorba the Buddhas, the churches will become museums and the political parties will become obsolete. They will lose their jobs and they are fighting for their lives. But you don't have to fight them. You just have to wake up. When you turn on the light, the darkness doesn't fight the light, it simply disappears. Awareness is the light. The mafia of the soul is the darkness. Don't waste your energy hating the priests or the politicians. That only gives them more power over you. Just watch them. See through their games. See how they use fear and guilt to keep you small. The moment you see the game, you are out of it. Look at your life. Where are you still playing the game? Where are you still trying to please someone else's idea of who you should be? Where are you still afraid of being judged? Drop it. It's not your burden. You were born as a unique individual, not as a copy. The mustard seed within you has its own signature. It wants to become its own kind of tree. Don't try to be a cedar if you are a rose. Don't try to be a Buddha if you are a Zorba. Just be who you are, but be it with total awareness. This is the message of the fourth Gospel of Thomas, which the Church suppressed. It was too dangerous. It spoke of a Jesus who was more like a Zen master than a priest. A Jesus who told his disciples to be passers-by. What does it mean to be a passer-by? It means to be in the world, but not to let the world take root in you. To enjoy the scenery, the people, the experiences, but to keep moving toward your own center. To not get stuck in any ideology, any religion, any home. Your only true home is your own awareness. If you are ready to be a passerby with me, if you are ready to walk this pathless land, then let's continue. Your engagement, the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, is the way we signal to each other in the dark. It's how we find the other passers-by. Use the join button to stand with us. Use super thanks to help fuel this vehicle of truth, and dive into our ebooks to find the specific maps for your internal terrain. We are building a new world, one individual at a time. Remember, there is no Christianity, there is no Islam, there is no Hinduism. These are just different names for the same ignorance. There is only awareness. And awareness is not a destination. It is a way of traveling. It is a way of seeing. It is a way of being. Be aware of your breath. Be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of the silence that surrounds everything. In that awareness, you will find that God is not dead. God was never born. Only the concept of God is dead. The reality, the godliness, is more alive than ever. It is in the song of the birds. It is in the rustle of the leaves. It is in the look of a child. It is in you. Don't go to the priest to find it. Don't go to the politician to find it. Go within. The mafia of the soul has tried to block the door to your inner world for 5,000 years. They have put up signs saying danger, sin, hell. Ignore the signs. They are just posters to protect their business. Walk right through the door. On the other side, you will find a treasure that makes all the gold in the world look like pebbles. You will find your own eternity. You will find that you are the mustard seed that has finally found the tilled earth, and as you grow into a great tree, the birds of heaven, the thoughts of the divine, the feelings of ecstasy, the visions of truth will come and make their nests in your branches. You will become a shelter for others, not because you want to be a leader, but because your very presence is a healing. A person who has found himself is a blessing to the whole world. He doesn't do anything, his being is the doing. This is the ultimate secret. Being is doing. When you are, everything happens on its own. The mustard seed doesn't try to grow. It simply allows existence to move through it. The tree doesn't try to give shade, it is its nature. When you drop your ego, when you drop your will, you become a vehicle for the will of existence. And that will is always for more love, more joy, more consciousness. So, my beloved ones, let's drop the mafia. Let's drop the labels. Let's drop the seriousness. Let's be Jhorba the Buddhas. Let's live. Let's love, let's laugh, and let's meditate. This is the only way to be truly human. And to be truly human is to be divine. The journey continues, and I am glad you are here with me. Every like, every share, every new member joining our community is a victory for the human spirit. Explore the ebooks, use super thanks to support the message, and let's keep this fire burning. The morning is near. As we move deeper into this exploration, we must address the most subtle tool of the mafia of the soul, the concept of faith. They have told you that faith is a virtue. They have told you that to have faith is to be a good person. But I tell you, faith is a form of spiritual blindness. Faith means you have accepted someone else's truth because you are too afraid or too lazy to find your own. It is a way of closing the investigation before it has even begun. The politician asks for your faith in his promises. The priest asks for your faith in his dogmas. Why? Because neither of them has any reality to offer you. If the politician had a real solution, he wouldn't need your faith. He would show you the results. If the priest had the real God, he wouldn't need your faith. He would help you experience the divine directly. Faith is the credit card of the soul mafia. They want you to buy their lies now and pay with your life later. I don't ask for your faith, I ask for your doubts. I want you to be a skeptic. A true seeker is a skeptic. He doesn't believe anything until he has tasted it. If I tell you that this fruit is sweet, don't believe me. Taste it. Your own taste is the only truth. If it is sweet for you, then it is sweet. If it is bitter for you, then it is bitter. My truth cannot be your truth. Truth is not something that can be transferred from one person to another. It is not a commodity. It is an experience. This is where Zen stands apart from all other traditions. Zen says, if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. This is a shocking statement to a religious person. But what it means is, kill the image of the Buddha. Kill the idea of the Buddha. Kill the faith in the Buddha. Because as long as you are looking at an external Buddha, you are missing the Buddha within. The external Buddha is just another other. He is just another part of the mafia if you use him to avoid your own awakening. A true master will always try to throw you back upon yourself, but the mafia of the soul does the opposite. They want you to be hooked on the external. They want you to be a follower. They give you statues, they give you rituals, they give you holy books. They want your attention to be fixed on anything except your own inner silence. Because in that silence, their power evaporates. In that silence, you see that you don't need a middleman. You are in direct contact with the source. This direct contact is what Jesus called the mustard seed, falling on tilled earth. The tilled earth is a mind that has been cleared of all faith, all belief, all borrowed knowledge. It is a mind that is empty and waiting. This waiting is not an expectation. It is a state of openness. It is like a flower waiting for the sun to rise. The flower doesn't know the sun is coming, but it is ready. To reach this state of readiness, you must go through the meditation, the first and last freedom. You must learn the art of being alone. The mafia has made you afraid of being alone. They have labeled it loneliness and told you it is something to be avoided. They have given you 1,000 ways to escape yourself. Television, movies, social media, politics, even charity. Anything to keep you from sitting silently with yourself. Why? Because when you are alone, you start to see the absurdity of the ego. You see that the ego is just a collection of roles you play for others. Without the other, the ego begins to starve. And when the ego starves, the soul begins to breathe. This is the first freedom. freedom from the crowd. And the last freedom is freedom from yourself, from your own mind. If you are feeling the call to this freedom, if you are tired of being a believer and want to become a knower, then this is your home. Subscribe to this channel and let's walk this path together. Like the video to help us spread this holy doubt to the world. Share your journey in the comments. Let's support each other in dropping the crutches of faith. To those who want to support the mechanics of this mission, the join button and super thanks are your ways to contribute to the growth of this mustard seed. Our ebooks are available for those who want to master the techniques of solitude and silence. Your support ensures that this oasis remains free from the influence of the mafia. The priest and the politician have also used morality as a way to cripple your soul. They have given you a list of thou shalt nots. They have made you feel guilty about your body, about your sex, about your laughter, about your very existence. Guilt is the greatest weapon of control. A guilty person is always looking for a savior. A guilty person is always ready to be a slave. I tell you, there is no such thing as sin. There are only mistakes. And mistakes are the way we learn. To be human is to be fallible. To be fallible is to be a student of life. Don't let them make you feel guilty for being alive. Your desires, your passions, your curiosity, these are the mustard seeds of your vitality. Don't suppress them. Transform them through awareness. A Zorba the Buddha doesn't follow a code of conduct. He doesn't have a 10 commandments. He has something far more powerful. He has consciousness. When you are conscious, you don't need to be told not to kill, or not to steal, or not to lie. You don't do these things because they are wrong. You don't do them because they are ugly. They are inconsistent with your beauty, with your joy, with your love. A person who is happy cannot hurt another. Only a miserable person wants to make others miserable. The mafia of the soul creates misery and then gives you a morality to manage that misery. I say, get rid of the misery. Find your inner joy through meditation, and the morality will follow like a shadow. This is the only natural morality. It doesn't come from a book, it comes from your own heart. It is not a duty, it is a joy. This is the Jhorba part of the synthesis. Jhorba is the man of the earth, the man of the senses. He doesn't deny life, he drinks it to the dregs. But without the Buddha part, Jhorba can become lost in the world. He can become a slave to his own passions. The Buddha part is the awareness, the witness. When Jorba and Buddha meet, you have a person who can enjoy the world without being enslaved by it. You have a person who is in the world but not of it. This is the only way to live authentically. Authenticity means being true to your own nature, regardless of what the mafia says. It means having the courage to be nobody. The ego wants to be somebody, a great leader, a famous artist, a wealthy businessman, a holy saint, but somebody is always a role. Nobody is your true being. To be nobody is to be the whole. The mustard seed is smaller than all seeds. It is a nobody among seeds. But look at what it becomes. It becomes a large tree and becomes shelter for all the birds of heaven. When you are willing to be a nobody, when you are willing to disappear into your own inner silence, you become a giant of consciousness. You become a shelter for a world that is lost in the storm of its own ego. But the mafia wants you to be a somebody. They give you titles, they give you medals, they give you social status. They want you to be invested in your role so that you will protect the system that gives you that role. They want you to be a good Christian, a loyal citizen, a productive worker. I say be an individual. An individual is one who is indivisible. He is one whole piece. He is not divided into a good part and a bad part, a spiritual part and a material part. He is Zorba the Buddha. As we continue this rebellion against the mafia of the soul, I want to thank you for being here. It takes a rare kind of person to listen to these words. Most people would rather stay in the comfort of their prisons. If you are still here, you are a mustard seed that has found the tilled earth. Let's keep growing. Like the video, subscribe, and share this message with the other nobodies out there. Your support through the join button, super thanks, and our ebooks is the water that keeps this garden green. We are creating a new world, a world where there are no priests and no politicians, only Zorba the Buddhas. Remember, there is no Christianity, no Islam, no Hinduism. These are just labels used by the mafia to divide and conquer the human soul. There is only ignorance and awareness. Ignorance is the root of all religions. Awareness is the end of all religions. Choose awareness. Choose life. Choose yourself. The journey is long, but every step is a arrival. Every moment of meditation is a glimpse of the goal. Don't look for a heaven in the future. Find the kingdom of heaven right here, right now, in your own presence. Be a passerby in the world of the mafia and a king in the world of your own soul. I am with you. Let's go deeper into this mystery. For the path of Zen is the path of radical honesty. The mafia of the soul has not only given you a false God and a false morality, they have given you a false sense of time. They have made you live for the future, either a future in this life filled with ambitions and achievements, or a future in the next life filled with rewards and heavens. But I tell you, there is no such thing as the future. The future is an invention of the mind to keep you from the now. And the now is the only space where the divine can happen. The now is the only space where you can be free. The politician needs the future to give you hope. The priest needs the future to give you fear. If you are totally in the now, you are neither hopeful nor fearful. You are simply here. And a person who is simply here is the greatest threat to the establishment. Why? Because you cannot be motivated by the carrot of heaven or the stick of hell. You are already fulfilled. You are already in the kingdom of heaven. This is what the mustard seed represents, the present moment, which, though small and seemingly insignificant, contains the potential for total expansion. If you are beginning to feel this now as a living presence, I invite you to stay with me on this journey. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a moment of this awakening. Like this video to help us overcome the suppression of the mafia and reach others who are ready to live in the present. Share your experiences of the now in the comments. Let's create a collective field of presence. To support the continued expansion of this message, please consider using the join button to become a member of our inner circle or offer a super thanks as a gesture of your gratitude. Our ebooks are also available to provide you with the maps you need to navigate the inner terrain of the present. Your support is the energy that keeps this garden of consciousness blooming. The old religions have taught you to pray to an external God. But prayer is just another way of talking to yourself while pretending someone else is listening. It is a monologue masquerading as a dialogue. I teach you meditation, which is not talking but listening. In meditation, you are not asking for anything. You are not saying anything. You are just silent, listening to the heartbeat of existence. In that silence, you don't find God, you find godliness. You find a quality of being that is divine. The mafia of the soul is terrified of this silence. They have filled the world with noise, religious noise, political noise, commercial noise. They want your mind to be constantly occupied. They want you to be a consumer of thoughts, of things, of ideologies. Because a silent mind is a mind that has seen through the game. A silent mind is a no mind, and no mind is the birth of the Buddha. This is the God is dead revolution. When the external God dies, the internal Buddha is born. This Buddha is not a person. It is your own awareness. As I have said before, the first step is the Buddha coming behind you as a presence. You feel it as an energy field that surrounds you. It gives you a new sense of direction. It gives you a new morality that is not a code of conduct, but a spontaneity. You don't do good because you have been told to. You do good because you have become good. You are joyful, cheerful, and courageous. The moment you know you are eternal, all weakness disappears. All inferiority disappears. On the second step, the Buddha comes in front of you. You become the shadow. You are so mesmerized by this inner light that your ego begins to fade. And on the third step, even your shadow withers away. You are no more, only the Buddha remains. He is your truth, He is your beauty, He is your godliness. This is the Zen that is the only living truth. It is not something you do, it is something you are. The priests have tried to turn the Buddha and Jesus into quote-unquote saviors. They want you to believe that someone else will do the work for you. This is the ultimate political trick. It keeps you dependent. But I say to you, no one can save you but yourself. You are responsible. This responsibility is your greatest dignity. It means that you have the power to change your life right now. You don't have to wait for a Messiah. You don't have to wait for the end of the world. You can end your world, the world of your ego, this very moment. To do this, you must be a Zorba the Buddha. You must love the earth and the sky. You must love the body and the soul. The mafia of the soul has tried to divide you against yourself. They have said the body is low and the soul is high. They have said sex is a sin and celibacy is holy. This is sheer nonsense. The body is the temple of the soul. Sex is the source of life. How can the source of life be a sin? I say to you, let your sex be meditative. Let your body be a celebration. When the Zorba and the Buddha are one, you are a complete human being. You are a whole circle. This wholeness is what I call religiousness. It has nothing to do with Christianity, Islam, or Hinduism. It is a way of being in the world. It is a way of living with awareness, with love, and with laughter. The priests have made religion a serious, gloomy business. They have made it a funeral. I want to make it a festival. I want you to dance your way to the divine. I want you to laugh your way to enlightenment. A saint who cannot laugh is not a saint. He is just a repressed ego in a holy costume. As we move forward, let's commit ourselves to this celebration. If you find your heart beating faster with these words, then you are a part of this new humanity. Subscribe to this channel to stay connected with this frequency. Like and share this video to help us break the monopoly of the mafia. Your engagement in the comments helps us build a community of rebels and seekers. To those who want to provide a solid foundation for this work, the join button and super thanks are your tools for participation. Our ebooks offer deeper insights into the synthesis of Zorba and Buddha. Every contribution helps us create a space where the mustard seed can grow into a sanctuary for all. Look at the world today. It is a mess because it is led by the mafia of the soul. The politicians are greedy for power, and the priests are greedy for souls. They have created a society based on competition, conflict, and exploitation. They talk about peace, but they prepare for war. They talk about love, but they preach hate for the other religion, the other nation, the other race. I say to you, there is no other. We are on one pulse. We are all branches of the same tree of existence. To realize this oneness, you must drop your knowledge. Your knowledge is just a collection of labels. You call yourself a Christian. But what do you know of Christ? You have only heard the interpretations of the priests. You call yourself a Hindu. But what do you know of the Upanishads? You have only repeated the rituals of the Brahmins. Your knowledge is a wall between you and the truth. To find the truth, you must become ignorant again. You must return to the innocence of a child. This not knowing is the tilled earth of the mustard seed. When you are empty of labels, you are open to the reality of the moment. You see the tree not as a tree, but as a living, breathing presence. You see the person next to you not as a stranger, but as a mirror of yourself. In this state of innocence, you find that there is no Christianity, no Islam, no Hinduism. There is only awareness. And awareness is the only religion that can save the world. The mafia of the soul wants you to be a citizen, a believer, a member. I want you to be an individual. An individual is one who has seen through all the games and has decided to be himself. An individual is a rebel, not a rebel who fights with others, but a rebel who has dropped his own conditioning. A rebel who has discovered his own mustard seed. This discovery is the first and last freedom. It is the freedom to be who you are, without apology and without fear. It is the freedom to live your own life, to follow your own light. The priests will tell you that this is selfish, but I say to you, unless you are selfish enough to find your own soul, you can never truly love others. You can only give what you have. If you have found your own joy, you can share it. If you have found your own silence, you can radiate it. So, my beloved ones, let's stop being sheep. Let's be lions. Let's walk the golden path inward. The center you reach is not only your center, it is the center of the whole existence. At the center we all meet. The birds, the trees, the rivers, the mountains, everyone at the center meets. We are different on the circumference, but we are one at the center. And to know this oneness is enlightenment. As we conclude this part of our sharing, I want to remind you that the journey is just beginning. The mafia of the soul has had 5,000 years to build its walls, but a single moment of awareness can bring them down. If you are ready to be that moment of awareness, then keep following this channel. Subscribe, like, and share. Your support through the join button, super thanks, and our ebooks is what allows us to keep this fire of truth burning in a world of darkness. We are the gardeners of the new humanity. Let's till the earth and watch the mustard seed grow. The morning is here. The sun is rising. The God is dead revolution is in full swing. Now Zen, the living truth, is the only way. Be silent, be aware, be a Zorba the Buddha. And remember, I am with you at every step of the way. Let's look even more closely at the mafia of the soul. Why do they hate me so much? Why have they always persecuted those who speak the truth? From Socrates to Al-Hillaj Mansur, from Jesus to the Zen masters, why has the establishment always been so afraid? It is because truth is the ultimate deprogrammer. The moment you find the truth, the mafia loses its grip on you. You become unpredictable. You become unmanageable. You become free. A free person is a danger to the politician because he cannot be bribed with power or fame. A free person is a danger to the priest because he cannot be threatened with hell or seduced with heaven. A free person lives in his own authority. He doesn't ask for permission to be happy. He doesn't ask for permission to dance. He is a law unto himself. This is the highest state of human evolution. But the society is not interested in your evolution. It is interested in your utility. It wants you to be a useful machine. It wants you to be a good father, a good mother, a good worker, which always means a compliant father, a compliant mother, a compliant worker. I say be bad. If being good means being a slave, then be bad. If being good means being a copy, then be bad. Because in your badness, you might just find your original face. This is the mustard seed falling on tilled earth. The tilled earth is a mind that has been broken open by the realization that all your goodness is just a social mask. When the mask falls away, you are naked, you are vulnerable, and you are real. In that reality, the divine happens, not because you deserve it, but because you are open to it. If you are finding the courage to drop the mask, I want you to know that you are not alone. There are thousands of seekers around the world who are doing the same. This channel is a meeting point for all the rebels of the soul. Subscribe and join our community so that we can support each other in this radical transformation. Like this video to help us reach those who are still struggling with their masks. Share your journey in the comments. Your vulnerability is your strength. To help us keep this platform independent and powerful, please consider using the join button or offering a super thanks. Our ebooks provide more detailed guidance on how to navigate the challenges of authenticity. Together, we are building a Gautam the Buddha auditorium in the virtual world. The mafia of the soul has used tradition as a way to keep you in the past. They tell you that what was good for your ancestors must be good for you. But life is not a tradition. Life is a constant renewal. Life is a river that is always fresh. Tradition is a stagnant pond. To be alive is to be in the now. To be traditional is to be dead. I want you to be alive. The Zen masters understood this. They didn't care about traditions. They didn't care about scriptures. They only cared about this moment. There is a story of a Zen master who was asked, "What is the most important teaching of the Buddha?" He replied, "Attention." The student asked, "And the second most important?" The master replied, "Attention." The student asked, "And the third?" The master replied, "Attention." Attention or awareness is the only teaching you need. If you are aware, you don't need a priest to tell you what to do. If you are aware, you don't need a politician to tell you who to be. Awareness is the light that reveals the truth. And the truth is that you are already what you are looking for. You are the mustard seed, and you are the large tree. You are the Jorba, and you are the Buddha. The priests have taught you to be humble, but their humility is just a disguised ego. They want you to feel small so that they can feel big. I say to you, be great. You are a part of existence. You are a child of the universe. How can you be small? The stars dance for you. The sun shines for you. The flowers bloom for you. You are a miracle. To realize your own greatness is the only true humility. Because you see that this greatness is not yours. It is the divine acting through you. This is the God is dead realization. When the external puppet master God is gone, you see the godliness in everything. You see it in the blade of grass. You see it in the morning dew. You see it in the eyes of a stranger. You don't need to go to a temple to find God. The whole existence is a temple. You don't need to pray to find God. Every act of awareness is a prayer. But the mafia of the soul doesn't want you to see this. They want to keep you in the waiting room of life. They want you to be becoming something better, holier, wealthier. I say, stop becoming. Just be. In being, there is no time. In being, there is no goal. In being, you have already arrived. This is the Zen that is the only living truth. As we continue this exploration, I invite you to take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel the life pulsing through your veins. This is the only reality. Everything else, your thoughts, your worries, your labels, is just a dream. Wake up from the dream. Be a Zorba the Buddha. Live totally and be totally aware. And as you wake up, help others to wake up. This is the only true service. Not because you are doing good, but because you are sharing your light. Subscribe to this channel, like and share this video. Use the join button and super thanks to support this global awakening. Check out our ebooks for more ways to deepen your practice. We are creating a world where there are no sheep and no shepherds, only individuals living in the light of their own awareness. There is no Christianity, there is no Islam, there is no Hinduism. There is only ignorance and awareness. Drop the ignorance, embrace the awareness, and live as a celebration. The journey continues, and the scenery is getting more and more beautiful. I am glad you are here with me. Let's keep walking. Let's look into the very heart of the mustard seed. Jesus said it becomes a shelter for all the birds of heaven. Who are these birds of heaven? They are the high-flying thoughts, the ecstatic feelings, the sublime visions that come to a person who has found his center. Usually, your mind is full of birds of the earth, worries about money, worries about status, worries about the body. These are heavy birds. They cannot fly high. But when you find your inner silence, when your awareness becomes a vast tree, the birds of heaven descend. They bring with them a fragrance from the beyond. They bring with them a music that has no sound. They bring with them a peace that passeth all understanding. This is the reward of meditation. It is not something you get from God. It is something that happens to you when you are in harmony with existence. The mafia of the soul has tried to sell you birds of heaven made of plastic. They give you faith, they give you hope, they give you scriptures. But these are just dead things. They cannot sing, they cannot fly. I want you to have the real birds. And to have the real birds, you must grow the real tree. You must till the earth of your own soul. This tilling is the most difficult work in the world. It means facing your own darkness. It means facing your own anger, your own greed, your own fear. Most people would rather look at the plastic birds of the priest than face their own inner shadows. But I say to you, the only way to the light is through the darkness. The only way to the birds of heaven is through the earth of your own being. If you are ready for this work, then you are a true disciple of the truth, not a follower of Osho, but a disciple of your own awareness. This channel is here to provide the tools for this work. Subscribe and join our community so that we can till the earth together. Like this video to help us overcome the mafia and reach those who are tired of plastic birds. Share your experiences of the birds of heaven in the comments. Let's inspire each other. To support the continued growth of this sanctuary, please use the join button or super thanks. Our ebooks offer practical techniques for tilling the soil of the heart. Your support is the rain that helps the mustard seed grow. The priest and the politician have always been in a love affair with power. They want to be the heads of the society. But I say to you, the head is the problem. The head is the source of all division, all conflict, all ego. I want you to move from the head to the heart. The heart is the source of all love, all unity, all silence. The heart doesn't know Christianity. The heart doesn't know Islam. The heart doesn't know Hinduism. The heart only knows this. It only knows the pulse of the moment. When you live in the heart, you are naturally a Zorba the Buddha. You are naturally a lover and a meditator. This is the God is dead revolution. The God of the head, the logical God, the judgmental God, the theological God is dead. And the God of the heart, the living, breathing, dancing God is born. This is Zen. Zen is the path of the heart. It is the path of direct experience. The Zen masters were often very earthy people. They would laugh, they would shout, they would even hit their students. Why? To bring them back from the head to the heart. To bring them back from thinking to being. They wanted their students to be Zorbas, full of life, and Buddhas, full of awareness. This is my vision for you. I don't want you to be a spiritual person who is half dead. I want you to be a whole person who is fully alive. I want you to enjoy the beauty of the world and the silence of the soul. I want you to be a passerby who enjoys the journey without getting lost in the destination. Look at your life. Are you enjoying the journey, or are you always looking for the next stop? Are you always waiting for the next achievement? Stop waiting. The journey is the destination. The moment is the goal. The mustard seed is already the large tree. You just have to see it. This seeing is awareness. And awareness is the only truth. All else is ignorance. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the heart, I invite you to take another deep breath. Feel the connection between your breath and the breath of the universe. You are not a separate piece of existence. You are a part of the whole. You are a wave in the ocean. The mafia of the soul wants you to think you are a separate drop so they can control you. But I say to you, you are the ocean. Realize your oceanness. Realize your eternity. Realize your godliness. And let your life be a celebration of that realization. Subscribe to this channel to stay in this ocean frequency. Like and share this video to help us dissolve the walls of the mafia. Use the join button and super thanks to support this global revolution of the heart. Check out our ebooks for more ways to move from the head to the heart. We are the architects of the new humanity, a humanity based on love, laughter, and meditation. There is no Christianity, there is no Islam, there is no Hinduism. There is only the heart, and the heart is the only sanctuary. The journey continues, and the music is getting louder and louder. I am glad you are dancing with me. Let's explore the final mystery of the mustard seed. Jesus said it becomes a shelter. What does it mean to be a shelter? It means that when you find your own center, you naturally become a source of peace for others. You don't try to help them. You don't try to save them. Your very presence is a healing. Your very silence is a comfort. A person who has found his Zorba the Buddha synthesis is like a cool breeze on a hot summer day. People are drawn to him not because he has answers, but because he has presence. He is a shelter from the madness of the world, from the mafia of the soul, from the constant noise of the ego. The priests and the politicians want to be leaders. They want people to follow them. But a person who has found his center doesn't want followers, he wants friends. He doesn't want to be a shepherd to sheep. He wants to be a lion among lions. He wants everyone to find their own mustard seed. This is the ultimate goal of my work. I am not here to give you a new religion. I am here to help you get rid of all religions. I am not here to give you a new God. I am here to help you realize your own godliness. I am not here to give you a new path. I am here to help you see that you are the path. The mafia of the soul will always try to co-opt this message. They will try to turn Osho into a new religion. They will try to turn my words into a new scripture. They will try to turn our community into a new flock. Don't let them. Be aware. Be a rebel. Stay true to your own awareness. This is the first and last freedom. It is the freedom from all otherness. It is the freedom to be totally alone and yet totally one with the whole. It is the Zen that is the only living truth. As we conclude this long discourse, I want to thank you for your attention. Your attention is the greatest gift you can give. It is the beginning of your own awakening. If you have felt a resonance with these words, if you have felt a stirring in your mustard seed, then the work has begun. Keep tilling the earth, keep watching the birds of heaven, keep being a Zorba the Buddha, and let your life be a song of gratitude to existence. Subscribe to this channel to keep this song alive. Like and share this video to help us reach every soul that is ready to be free. Use the join button and super thanks to support this global sanctuary of awareness. Check out our ebooks for the final keys to your inner kingdom. We are the pioneers of a new way of being, a way based on truth, beauty, and godliness. There is no Christianity, there is no Islam, there is no Hinduism. There is only the mustard seed and the large tree. There is only ignorance and awareness. Be aware, be free, be godly. The journey never ends, but the home is always here. I am with you always. Goodbye, my beloved ones, and welcome to the celebration. Let us synthesize everything we have shared. The core of the problem is that you have been told you are unfinished. The mafia of the soul, the priests and politicians have made you believe that you need their help to reach completion. They have made you a seeker of things outside yourself. But I tell you, you are already finished. You are already a masterpiece of existence. You don't need to become a Buddha. You only need to uncover the Buddha that is already there. This uncovering is what I call meditation. It is not an addition to your life, It is a subtraction. It is dropping the Christianity, dropping the Hinduism, dropping the labels, dropping the ego. When everything that is not you is dropped, what remains is the real you. And the real you is the mustard seed that has already become the large tree. The synthesis of Zorba the Buddha is the expression of this completion. Zorba represents the outer completion, the enjoyment of the body, the senses, the world. Buddha represents the inner completion, the enjoyment of silence, awareness, the soul. When you are complete both outwardly and inwardly, you are a whole man. And a whole man is the only holy man. The world is suffering because it is full of half men. Some are Zorbas who have forgotten the Buddha. They are lost in materialism and greed. Others are Buddhas who have forgotten the Zorba. They are lost in asceticism and repression. The mafia of the soul thrives on this halfness. They want you to be divided so they can offer you a cure. But their cure is the disease. I say to you, be whole. Don't choose between the world and the soul. Choose both. Live totally in the world and live totally in the soul. This is the only way to be a true individual. This is the only way to be a true rebel. This is the only way to be truly free. The God is dead realization is the final blow to the mafia. When you realize that there is no God to please or to fear, you realize that you are the master of your own destiny. You realize that your life is a blank canvas and you are the artist. What kind of life will you paint? Will it be a life of fear and guilt? Or will it be a life of love and laughter? The choice is yours, and the moment of choice is always now. If you are ready to paint a masterpiece of awareness, I invite you to join us on this path. Subscribe to this channel and let's create a new world together. Like this video to help us bypass the mafia's filters and reach every mustard seed on this planet. Share your vision of the whole man in the comments. Let's inspire each other to be great. To support the continued creation of this space, please use the join button or super thanks. Our ebooks are your guides to the art of being whole. Your support is the energy that fuels this revolution of the soul. Look at the trees one last time. They are not trying to be anything other than what they are. They are perfectly content in their beingness. This is the message of Zen. This is the message of the mustard seed. This is the message of Zorba the Buddha. There is no Christianity, there is no Islam, there is no Hinduism. There is only the living, breathing, pulsing reality of the moment. There is only your own awareness. Be that awareness. Be that reality. Be that celebration. I am not your master, I am your friend. I am not your leader, I am your brother. I am just a passerby who has found a beautiful spring and wants to share the water with you. Drink deeply, my beloved ones. The water is free. The water is life. The water is you. The journey continues, but we are already home. Let's celebrate our homecoming.